Welcome back all to season 3 of 31 Days to Wellbeing.
Woo!
We have a special guest for the eagle-eyed and eagle-eared on the old podcast.
Throughout this week we were trying to interact with strangers, and we thought we'd start off nice and easy by just trying to give a stranger a compliment. I spotted a guy in the distance. He was wearing some cool trousers. I was like, this is my guy. We're just going to be walking past. It's going to be a drive-by. It's going to be easy. I don't have to stop him. I'll just be like your trousers. So anyway, I'm getting all hyped up for it. And the guy literally 3 meters in front of me decides to tap him on the shoulder as he goes past. Goes, I love your trousers, bro.
No.
And I'm like, right, there's going to be someone else. So I see someone with a really nice dog. The same guy that had been 3 meters in front of me.
Who is this guy?
Goes up to this person.
And our other special guest today is...
And so this guy goes up to the person with the dog and is like, I love your dog, bro. Like, it's so cute. And I was like, what is this guy doing?
I was actually at the pub and then complimented this guy on his shirt. I just sort of tapped him. I was like, your shirt's nice. Well, not quite. That sounds quite ominous, actually. It was more casual. I was like, sorry to disturb. Hope you're having a nice evening, but your shirt's... I really like your shirt. Where's it from? And then he was just like, oh, it's like... I don't know. It's like thrifted or something. I was like, oh, that's a shame. I was like, well, have a good evening. And then
That's a shame.
That's a shame. Well, I meant like I wanted to get a similar one.
Bring him up just to drop him.
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed.
No, I meant more like, oh, that's a shame because like I would have wanted to get one here, but anyway. And then his whole group was like being like, woo! As I walked off, and I was like, oh no, I feel like that made it seem like I was like flirting, and that's not what the vibe was. Bless him.
I wouldn't think twice about it, but if someone who is more like
Macho.
hetero, well, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Pulling no punches already. Episode 1. Day 2, random act of kindness for a stranger.
There was this like little old lady standing next to me. She was just standing by herself, bopping along to the music, and offered her a little can of G&T, which she was, oh really, you sure? Oh, no, I shouldn't. I initially turned it down, and then after a bit of peer pressure from me, we shared a can together.
So basically, I was on the street, and this man who was homeless, he came up to me, was asking if I could help him, and I was like, yeah, of course I can. Like, I didn't have any change on me, the classic conversation, but I was like, I obviously can like get you something. So we went into Pret. This lovely man called Lee. So me and him, I got him a coffee and, I got him a sandwich, and then the lady behind the counter obviously knew him, and she gave him a coffee for free, which was really sweet.
I went and bought some ice creams from Tesco, and then I walked around with a multi-pack, and I just tried to hand them out.
I love that. That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully not in your car.
Yeah, no. Well. Here's the point. So the first person that I went up to was a lady, and I imagine they were both her kids were just off playing, and so I walked over and I was like, oh, like it's like a hot day. I was trying to position it like, oh, I've got some spare. I only need one, to not be like, ice cream. They'd be like, oh, they're going to go to waste. And she was like,
Probably because you had your t-shirt off.
Stop. She was kind of just like, no, we're okay. And I was like, oh, did the boys want one? She was like, no. And I was like, okay, that's 5 times to go. Day 3.
Which was the park run.
I don't run.
As a fact.
I really enjoyed it. This guy walked past me, and I was not thinking at all, and he just went, I really like your shoes, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. He was like, no, we have the same shoes. And I was like, oh, you're joking, thank you so much. And I was like, this is, because I was like, oh, thank you. He's like, no, mate, we have the same. I was like, oh, we have the same shoes, right? Yeah. It was just like a classic daze, like not really engaging with what's happening, and oh God, yeah. So all round, my execution's going like really well this whole week so far.
Yeah, it was really good. It's also quite competitive. I sort of got into the park run spirit. Almost threw up about 50 meters from the finish line.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it is something that I would do again.
Which is cool, if you like doing that sort of thing.
Day 4, and it's honest conversations with a stranger.
Yeah, mine was not quite so successful.
Sure.
It was, I know, seems to be the theme of this week for me. And as I'm asking him whether I should get pinballs or man stripes, I got went for pinballs. Another customer walked in and was very much like gunning for a pack of cigarettes. And I was like, well, I don't really want to like wait here to then continue the conversation after he already thinks I'm a bit strange. So yeah, that kind of flopped a little bit.
Day 5 was we had to smile at every single person we saw throughout the day. I did feel like a complete lemon most of the day, though, I have to say. Like, particularly in the mornings when you're like commuting in and everyone just looks like very kind of upset that they're going to work on the tube and everything. And whilst I'm standing there, like, and I always stand in the doors, so it's like people are getting on, and I'm like, the whole day it's slightly weird.
I walked down the road, I smiled at this old man, he smiled back, and then instantly there was a young girl behind him, probably like mid-20s, and I was like, I immediately felt weird about smiling at her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm looking at her and smiling at her, and she's not looked at me. I was like, now I feel weird. And she completely ignored me. I was like, yeah, fair, because that's weird.
It's like a knowing smile, like something's happened, and like we like make eyes and we're like,
Yeah.
you know, the silent headphones on. I have no idea what's going on. This Victoria line squeaking past.
Okay, day 6 was following a similar theme from throughout the week, right? It was looking at making good eye contact and also having positive body language.
With internal meetings, I'll just be there like, I'm like, this is really probably not a good look, but I'm having a nice time.
Do you know what I did by accident? I can't remember why I was breathing in so heavily, but I kind of like, I think I was trying to like get a bit more space. I stood up and I let out a massive like exhale, and the guy in front of me looked up.
He was like,
Someone
God, these air cons are really strong today. Yeah.
yeah. And we have taken off.
Each week we're going to go for something quite big and sort of the harder or the more fun one. And so we did a blind friend date.
I downloaded Bumble for Friends. Yeah, I liked a lot of people, and then I ran out of likes and I had like no matches. And I was like, oh, this is really sad. No one wants to like go for a nice drink with me.
This guy posted on it saying, yeah, I've run this like board games night for strangers. So turned up to quite an old kind of what you call an old man's pub. Went up, ordered a Guinness. He was like, yeah. I'll put this Guinness on the tab. And I was like, well, this is amazing. So I go up the stairs, really happy. Walk in, everyone turns around. Walk up to the first guy like, hi, I'm Zach. Is this the board games night? And he was like, no. He was like, yeah, this is a business, like a work party. So had to slam the Guinness down and into the actual board games thing, sat down at the table, and then ended up playing with 5 other people for like an hour and a half. So thank you very much for attending today. It's been lovely to have you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And yeah, we'll be back for next week to take you through Friendship Week.
Woo.
See you next week.
What does it cost to be kind?
Wow.
There you go.
There you go.
Fun.